Hello there, everyone, and welcome to the AttackIQ webinar unveiling our new MSSP Partner Program. My name is Carl Wright, the Chief Commercial Officer here at AttackIQ. I'm very excited to be here today with two of my colleagues, Rupen Shah, who is our Vice President of Business Development and Partners, and Jose Barajas. Today, we're going to be talking about AttackIQ's new MSSP program. This is our first MSSP program at AttackIQ, and it has been built from the very ground up to maximize end customer delight, while also bringing significant partner opportunities in the form of margin and cross-sell pull-through of existing portfolios, goods, and services. So it's going to be, I think, a great set for all of our partners that are on here today. Rupen's going to spend some time talking through some of those high-level briefing items to educate you guys. But I'm also excited to be announcing our new MSSP Partner Portal technology that we believe is the first of its kind in the breach and attack simulation and automated pen test category. Excuse me. A complete service workflow provisioning framework, both entitlement as well as a product-led growth pre-sales marketing motion available via API or UI. The AttackIQ MSSP Partner Portal will help you drive highly efficient pre-sales lead gen as well as post-sales revenue. Jose will be providing a demo of some of that today. So during this webinar, please feel free to ask questions during the session in the chat feature, and we'll definitely try to get all the questions that we can today. With that said, I'll now turn this over to Rupen and Jose.
Thank you, Carl. Hi, everybody. This is Rupen Shah. As Carl said, I'm Vice President of Business Development. I'm relatively new here at AttackIQ, and it's the perfect timing to be here at AttackIQ to launch the MSSP Partner Program to the wide masses. I was just reading up recently about the MSSP market, actually, and just to get more current on it. It's expected to be about a $32 billion business this year, and in about less than 10 years, it's going to be more than double, according to various studies from market.us or the Enterprise Strategy Group. And so that means there's huge opportunity, but also a lot of challenges that MSSPs need in order to differentiate themselves in the market. So what I'm excited to talk about today is talk a little bit about what we're seeing in terms of the challenges, both with our customers as well as our MSSP partners. And how they go hand in hand with our new solutions that Jose is going to show you today. And then really we wanted to talk about what the opportunity is with those solutions for our MSSP partners. We'll talk about the types of offerings, and I'm going to try to put it down in bite sizes, meaning crawl, walk, run. So we want our partners to be able to kind of grow with our solutions and offer the right kind of solutions to end clients. And then of course, we'll summarize and take questions, answer any questions that get posted in the chat, and then provide you the next steps. So with that, let's start with just making sure we're level set on what are some of the major customer problems, and then how that's associated with the MSSPs today in the market. So what we know for certain, and not to be dismal, but we know that there's certainty in life, such as death and taxes. Unfortunately, there's another certainty, is crime. Everybody seems to we know that it's never going to go away. In fact, people obviously spend a lot of money now on security, both digital security as well as physical security, to protect ourselves from crime. Unfortunately, even with all that expenditure, there's sometimes mishaps because things are either not configured or are not set up correctly. And so that's one of the major challenges that happen in security. In fact, I like to always compare it to myself as a consumer at my home. I have invested in an alarm system for my own home. However, I don't normally test my alarm system very often. So unless the sensors are notified to me in terms of like a window or a door sensor being faulty, I wouldn't even know that it's actually been vulnerable. So that's the same in the digital security world or in cybersecurity for corporations today. And data as being the most important part of that, as we know today, with even the most recent pipeline attack with ransomware. So the question is, how do people do this? They need to test, and how well is your test? That is the major challenge with most companies. But the problem is it's not approachable, and we'll talk about that. So when I say approachable, meaning cost effective, because red teams are so expensive, and that testing is sometimes a point in time and not continuous. So we'll talk about what AttackIQ is going to be offering in that realm. So either, you can make sure you're preventing it, or guess what? A threat actor will. So what we'll talk about is how to be ready with Flex and Ready, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. So let's talk about some of the major things that are happening with why it's hard to be approachable. And the main thing is that red teams are really expensive, red team engagements. And that's usually because it involves people, and it's a point in time or ad hoc test. So that's why breach attack and simulation tends to be very expensive for a lot of companies, because it requires a lot of people. And the problem is it's in point in time, and the tests take a little bit of time, and so you don't get the results as quickly. The other problem is red teams, either if they're outsourced through a partner, or it's within the own organization, they sometimes may not cover all of the aspects of testing their control systems in their environment. So there could be a skills gap as well. Overall, then there's also the lack of visibility. If you've got air gap networks, or you're in an M&A activity, it is difficult to be able to test all and have full coverage. So this is why testing becomes a very complex and very expensive proposition for many companies, which is why they try to outsource with MSSPs and partners that have the skills to be able to do that. Next slide, please. So with that, what are the challenges even with MSSPs now? So we talked about what the customers are facing. How does that challenge the MSSPs? The problem is acquiring some new customers is because acquiring customers is at a high cost, because it's expensive for organizations to hire red team engagements. The other problem is it's not automated, so you don't have that continuous availability. For MSSPs, in order to drive that engagement or drive new customer acquisition, they have very expensive, account-based marketing campaigns that are not necessarily very effective, because most companies can't afford it. Or there's not an ability to kind of like try before you buy, that PLG or product-led growth. And so these are the things that MSSPs are facing in terms of trying to drive new customers. The other major issue is the testing requires these red teams or people. And so margin becomes a big pressure for partners, and it's because it requires a lot of people, as well as the skills coverage, like I was talking about earlier. And most MSSPs are trying to drive that margin higher by having a more subscription model. And finally, the other big aspect for MSSPs is they want to sell all their services. So what we're talking about today is that AttackIQ is not about just trying to drive AttackIQ solutions into clients, but it's actually to surface all of the other aspects of their control system. So if you're testing, for example, how good your EDR is or your firewall, you could, with a continuous testing or an ad hoc testing, you can identify those problems or weaknesses or vulnerabilities and offer other services. So what AttackIQ provides is the ability to upsell and grow other services that the MSSP provides. And so that's what we're really excited about. We're providing two things here. One, for customers to have a much more cost-effective way to do testing in an automated way, as Carl talked about in the beginning, that automated pen testing, and have MSSPs provide that at a lower cost and a more approachable, as well as better coverage, as well as selling more of their services. So it's a win-win for both our clients, as well as our partners in the MSSP. So that's why I'm really excited about this. And in order to demonstrate this, I think you should understand what those solutions are. And so I'm going to turn it over to Jose to talk about how we are approaching this with the new solutions that we're offering to our partners.
Thanks, Rupen. Appreciate that. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the challenges that your customers are facing, for which you'll be able to provide some solutions. And starting with, first and foremost, I'm sure many of you are being asked to organize or prioritize things based on MITRE ATT&CK. So first and foremost, here at AttackIQ, we are a founding research partner with MITRE, have helped develop this concept that you're probably hearing from your customers called the threat-informed defense, in order to help facilitate continuous testing, giving tools to the community, and just supporting those efforts all together. All of that work, all of that research is going into the produced products and solutions that you're seeing today, and is going to help us develop things like assessments for what we're seeing from a demand perspective from our customers, specifically NIST CSF here in the States. A lot of you that may be working with customers in the Europe have definitely been hearing about DORA, or have been asked by your customers about DORA. But these frameworks, specifically, I'll focus on NIST CSF. For NIST CSF, for example, this is the first step from providing very specific industry recommendations and almost requirements to now providing generalized recommendations through NIST CSF that any organization should follow in order to maintain appropriate cyber hygiene or cyber resilience, and how to implement a process of testing things ad hoc, to then making this part of their continuous daily workflow, essentially continuously validating that they're meeting or exceeding the standards that NIST CSF has provided. And in order to support you and to support your customers in accomplishing this mission, through the two solutions that we have, first and foremost, AttackIQ Flex, which is a point-in-time agentless solution allowing your customers to quickly test, or completely self-serve, so really giving you the optionality to either provide services along with this, or letting the customer self-serve at any moment, and really establish your own PLG motion through this mechanism. That's what AttackIQ Flex provides for you guys. And as a team matures and develops this into a program, you then also are going to be able to provide AttackIQ Ready services, which is a more continuous testing of their environment on a weekly basis, so that they can get this context on a continuous basis and have that assurance that they're, again, meeting or exceeding the standard that they are now required to adhere to, in this case being NIST CSF. Now, how do we do all this? From the perspective of content, the type of content that's made available to you and to your customers through you is first and foremost adversary campaign emulations. AttackIQ has been doing research continuously. We have a dedicated AttackIQ research team that will respond to any of the latest CISA alerts or any adversary campaigns, and provide that content through both of our solutions, AttackIQ Flex and Ready. Beyond just testing from a threat-based perspective, we also have security control testing. What we've done is we've done baselines to assure that whether it's AV, EDR, or firewall, or other technologies that you see there at the bottom, ensuring that they're meeting or exceeding the baseline expectations that that control capability should have. These are the two types of contests that, again, are driven by our adversary research team, and a lot of this is predicated on the research that we've done with MITRE. Now, getting into the weeds and the details just a little bit, we provided customers with multiple ways of actually accomplishing testing. First of all, we have a PCAP replay. This allows us to completely replay even very aggressive threats, as an example, but in a controlled fashion. We're doing a recap replay. We're not actually running the attack. So it gives you the opportunity to assess that environment and give that customer feedback and help them get better, even in production environments, because again, it's just a replay. We're not recreating that behavior. Now, beyond that, we can absolutely replicate step by step through our attack flows, essentially replicating the same actions that the attacker would take, validating how the environment would respond to an actual live attack that we've recreated from our perspective. And then finally, we can also execute individual TTPs, right? While attack flows may help us assess our EDR solutions' ability to notice patterns or actions across a machine, we may also want to validate that individual actions taken by an attacker would also be noticed, would also be mitigated, and that's where atomic testing comes into play. So really giving you a dynamic way of testing your customers' environments across the technologies that you see there at the bottom through, again, both AttackIQ Flex and our Ready solution. And as part of these solutions, you'll have the full capability, and you'll see this in a moment when we get to the demo, but you'll be able to manage both of these types of content, both adversary campaign emulations and security control testing. Depending on the service, first of all, through Ready, it is a continuous testing. So we can do installations through an agent to then run continuous testing as part of a schedule. At whatever cadence you want to provide the service to your client, you'll be able to do it, whether daily, monthly, weekly, and also giving you the opportunity to push out, whether it's an individual customer, or maybe you, as part of a service, are managing multiple customers and pushing out content on demand. You're going to have full control to manage this across your customer base. Now, from an agentless perspective, that's where AttackIQ Flex comes into play. That gives you an opportunity to still offer the same testing while providing the ability for your customer to do it in a way where they don't have to install an agent, where you simply just run an individual package and get the same results essentially, or put you in a position to provide a fully self-service self-service component as well. I'm seeing a question quickly about white labeling. We're absolutely give you guys the ability to white label. As a matter of fact, you'll see that here in a moment when I get to the demo and towards the end of the presentation today. The last thing I do want to mention here is, what is the benefit to your customers? At the end of the day, your customers are being pressured by organizations. For example, I have a lot of financial customers, even small credit unions, where GLBA used to ask them, what technologies are you using to mitigate ransomware? They're now being asked, prove you have the ability to mitigate ransomware. They can't afford to hire a red team to come in there every quarter, as an example. So now they can actually pick and select what type of testing they want to do, and I can either pay per test or pay for the continuous solution that you're going to offer through this service that we're talking about today. The other value to this is going to be faster time to value. The scope of the solutions and the testing is very specific to either the threats that they're facing today or the requirements, like we talked about NIST CSF, and the baseline of their capabilities, so they get quicker value, immediate results. Recommendations come as part of the solution and the reporting, all so that they can address any gaps that might have come as part of that process. The other thing that comes out of this is simplified testing. Instead of having to bring in an entire team to do this, you can offer the solution quickly and easily, or again, let your customers self-serve as part of that process. And then finally, giving them a sense of visibility there as well into their environment, because they now, again, without having to bring in a whole team to test every single department, they can easily run this service since it is much easier and consumable across the different environments that they may have, and get that complete visibility that they might not be able to do otherwise. All right, so now let's go talk about the go-to-market motions here in regards to the service that we've been talking about so far.
Thank you, Jose. And there is a question that came in the chat about the accuracy of Flex. I think we'll see that in the demo here shortly, but we can answer that towards the end here. So thank you, Jose. He talked about what the benefits to the customers are, the end clients, meaning our MSSP partners. So now let's talk about how we enable our MSSP partners. Next slide, please. Thank you. So the value, as we talked about earlier, with identifying the big challenges earlier, is that with the testing, what you just heard from Jose, is that we're able to provide that visibility to our partners and to the clients themselves, which means that there is the ability to now look at where the opportunities are to drive other services or solutions with AttackIQ's Flex and Ready offerings. With the fact that it's being automated in the testing, and we built the Flex and Ready, and as Carl mentioned, the MSSP portal from the ground up, we're able to provide this management platform for our partners to see all of the tests that are being run at their clients, how often they're running it, and how accurate their configurations are. So now what we're doing is we're making it much more approachable and lowering that cost of goods sold for our partners by offering this in a more automated fashion, as opposed to leveraging teams and engagements on an ad hoc basis. So within this drives, of course, is increase of customer satisfaction and success, because now you have that continuous testing, making sure the configurations and controls and all the threat potential adversarial attacks that could happen are mitigated or at least minimized. And then, as I mentioned in the very beginning, there's so many MSSPs out there. At least from what I read, there's about over 10,000 MSSPs globally. I think that may be even conservative in my opinion. But with a breach attack simulation as a independent offering or added to your existing offerings, you can actually drive this very PLG motion and upsell services and products that you have and offering to your clients. And so we believe that that's a strong opportunity to drive more of your services and upsell with AttackIQ's Flex and Ready solutions. So how are we going to do this? We've got three main offerings, like I was talking about earlier, to help graduate MSSPs to where their comfort level is. So first is that PLG motion that I talked about with Flex, and how Jose talked about that ad hoc testing. You could do it in point in time, check the cyber hygiene of your environment, or you can drive, this pre-sales marketing. The cost of Flex to our MSSP partners is so affordable that it can drive an amazing ability to continue to want more testing and get lead generation out of that and with the telemetry data to provide to sales to upsell other offerings and solutions that your portfolio may have. And we make it the model very flexible to pay. So you could pay as you go. There's no upfront cost to doing some of those Flex ad hoc tests. Again, it's agentless, as Jose mentioned, so you don't need to install anything. So customers can either do it as self-service, or you could provide that testing on your own. Or if you're ready to provide a little bit more of a subscription model or a more automated, more continuous based with Flex, you can do that with the Walk offering, if you want to call it Walk, where we can provide a package where you can build your own Flex packages with a custom package option and provide customized testing for your clients. Again, that can also drive that PLG motion and provide that on a more continuous basis. Or you get the concierge level of Flex and Ready, and you can use both Flex packages, which is agentless, Ready, which provides agents, and you can install agents and run Flex and or Ready content on those control systems. And now that's a very great subscription model and continuous testing model that you can add to your offering. Again, this is sort of like providing that white glove service that you're probably accustomed to with your clients. It can be white labeled, as you're going to see here in the demo in a moment. So it looks like you're providing all of these testing services as if it's from you, and AttackIQ is powering that capability. So that's how we are looking at how we graduate all of our MSSP partners to really focus on everything from that customer acquisition cost to lowering your cost of goods sold and increasing your margins, and last is upselling and growing your other offerings with your clients. So with that, I think it would be great to see a demo. What do you think, Jose?
Sounds great, Rupen. Let's go ahead and show them what we've been talking about so far. And yeah, we're seeing the questions come in, team. We'll definitely address those towards the end. And with that, what I'm going to show you today is I want to show you what you'll be able to create with your customers. So what I'll do is I'll first show you kind of a landing page that we have and we use. You can also go to attackiq.com and sign up and experience it yourself. But we'll show you what that looks like. From there, I'll go ahead and show you the Flex. So an example of a tenant that you can create for your customers. And then finally, which is really the focus for today, is showing you the MSSP management platform. That's really the focus for today. We had a few technical questions around Flex and Ready and how they work. I recommend that you check out some of the weekly demos we've already done for those solutions, both Flex and Ready, if you're more interested in what your end customers will experience from that perspective. Today, however, we'll focus more on what you'll be able to have in terms of being able to manage the many customers and provide them, again, both the Flex and Ready service through this framework that we've developed for you. So to start, here we have an example of a landing page where a user can actually use a code to go ahead and sign up for a tenant. By doing so, and I'm not going to sign up just for the purpose of the demo today, but by doing so, they'll actually be able to create, in this case, a Flex tenant, this is an example that you see here. So by having this solution, not only will you be able to provide the services, but again, provide your own, whether you use Marketo or some other solution, create a landing page for either marketing motions on your own website for free signups and assessment. I teach my teams that we should first give something to the prospect first, then we earn the right to ask for something in return. So we want to put you in that position as an organization. And beyond that, also put you in a position to have your field provide this testing as they engage with folks as well. And this is what Flex represents that you see here in front of you. The first thing I want you to note, if you look down on the top right, you see here we have Acme Corporation is actually providing MSSP services. It looks like they do sell everything. And in this case, they have Flex available for you. Flex is extremely easy in that you can either download a package. It is a self-contained package. The user just has to download the package that they want. And let me go ahead and show you the steps. Download the package that they want. By selecting that package, they can then download it, double click, that's all it takes. Your grandma can run this assessment. From there, there's actually an output file, a simple zip, which is an encrypted zip that can then upload it back into the platform. So for those, I know asking those security questions, it's all encrypted, so that way even the output is safe. It can only be read through our platform. Once it's uploaded into platform, we can then analyze it and review the results and actually take a look at the report. So this would be the view that the end customer would have. We can see here the details at the homepage, which are some of our feature testing. To give you a sense of the type of testing we have available here, we have some security baselines across the major categories of security technology. We have some focus more on the network side, and then others focus around adversary emulation. And we're continuously generating new content for each of these, but specifically for adversary emulation, which is a constantly changing landscape, we're absolutely keeping up with the latest threats from CISA and any emerging threats as well, and provided them as packages here. Every one of these assessments is going to come with an understanding of the scope, what's going to be done here, what is the research this is based on, and what are the techniques and procedures are going to be ran. So all that context, will be answered. I know there was some questions around the scope of the testing. How do you scope things out? Every package is very clear so that your clients understand what they're getting themselves into as they go ahead and run this. And these are
Hey,
built.
Jose, I'm going to jump in real quick here for a second. And so there's really two options with Flex. You can either give your customers access to it and they can do self-service. We have large insurance companies that do that as an example, and other MSSPs, or you could provide this as a concierge service for them where your teams are running the packages for them. So there's multiple choices here. We're just kind of giving you a couple of quick ones right now.
Thanks, Carl. And then the last component, your customer again will upload the platform results here and can go ahead and view some of these results and understand where they are. And let's take a quick look at one and then we can focus on the portal. But in this example, I completely self-serve and was able to understand, great, looks like I'm preventing all the things here. And one important note is we do provide a global score. So give you understanding of where you stand across, others that have ran, the same assessment so that your customers have a benchmark that they can focus on. Again, happy to give you guys one-on-one demos of Flex and Ready. We have a number of webinars already done on that topic. For now, let's actually show you, we have here retailer who signed up for our service. Let's take a look at how we can manage one of our customers here with the AttackIQ MSSP portal. So if I take a step back, I can first and foremost see this global dashboard where I can have an understanding of current activity across my entire user base. Within that user base, what are the top packages that are run? So we can get an understanding of what's interesting, what are the signups that we've had. This is your dashboard to understand how your business is growing and how your customers are consuming the content that we have. Now, this entire framework is built so that you can manage your customers, do entitlements for your customers, and provide both, again, the ready and the flex service for your customers that we've discussed. For example, let's take a look at retailer, which we were just looking at. That we were looking at here. We can see here we have retailer. Retailer is set to expire on this date. But more specifically, at this level, we can understand all the activity that this specific customer has done. We can see all the flex runs that they've done as well as viewing the report. We were looking at that EDR report previously. We can take a look at it as well. This is a great way for your team to get insights so that you can better support your customer. If you understand that they're continuously failing in the current area, well, then that's an opportunity for you to reach out with that context in hand and support your customer in a better way. Beyond that, we can see the users do basic user management, basic login tracking your customers will expect, and then any invitations that are out, we'll be able to do that. From here, we can also manage the entitlement. So currently, this customer only has Flex. We can go ahead and add Ready as well as an example. With Ready, you can add up to 10 agents. So your customers can select to test on 1 machine. They can select to test on 10 machines. But through this mechanism, I'll go ahead and just update that here. We can go ahead and see and manage our customers directly. Beyond this, of course, we can manage our users that we have there as an example, so that internally we can manage users. I want to call out that we do support single sign-on. So for those of you that have an IDP, we can connect with that directly, so you can have that control in your hand as part of that process, standard security stuff as well. Other things to note here is that you actually have the ability to manage the tests. As an example, maybe you simply provide services from an EDR perspective and nothing else. We put you in a position to provide the services that matter to you and the type of content that you want to be delivered as part of your service as well. A few more things to highlight is going to be, first of all, you have the ability to manage these codes. I showed you this landing page here, the landing page earlier, where we have those codes for sign up. And from that perspective, we'll put you in a position to go ahead and generate codes. For example, I want to generate 10 codes. I want to give 10 credits for each of those. And I want it to expire in 2 days. And it's for, Atlanta event as an example. And let's go ahead and generate those. Now you have a set of codes here. So either at the event, you can be giving those out. You can provide these to your sales team. So as they're engaging with customers, they can offer this testing as well. Really, it's up to you to decide how you use this as part of an email marketing campaign. Again, you guys can provide some of the testing to your clients. Again, putting you in a position to give them some testing and some context as well. The last thing is going to be around insights. So from an insights perspective, you have the full ability to actually get an understanding of what type of content your customers are running. So if we take a look here, we've actually selected and filtered just on some of our security control baseline. And then from here, you can actually go ahead and see the results across your different customers. So this really puts you in a position to understand and get the data of what are my customers running, when they are running certain content, where are they failing? And if you see that certain customers are failing at EDR like we see these two, then that's an opportunity to reach out and support our customers as part of this process. So that's all. It's a way for you to be able to manage your customer base, manage and provide the services that we've talked about here, and you're in power here to provide the service to your customer at a much lower cost than they're having today. So with that, let's go ahead and go back to Rupen here and talk about the webinar a little bit.
Thank you, Jose. I'm sure a lot of people have more questions about the demo, and there's a lot of questions been posted, so we'll get to that in just a minute. But just to summarize what you just saw and what we heard earlier today. So first of all, thank you everybody for attending the webinar. If you go to the next slide, Jose, what we're really doing for our partners, we designed this from the ground up as Carl set up the webinar in the beginning, for our partners to be able to manage with their clients. We're providing a solution to really kind of reduce that cost of goods sold, as we talked about. Improve margin because of that automation that we have built into both the portal and to our Flex and Ready solutions. We want to expand the revenue for our partners with all the services you're providing. And you could do that as as somebody asked earlier, can this be white labeled? You could do that as a white label. It's branded as yourself. The reports as well that come out with Flex can all be branded as you as the partner. And then finally, as I said, this is an ability for you to differentiate. Breach attack simulation has not been something that's been available, I would say, in a very scalable fashion. And with our Flex and Ready solutions, that's what's really exciting. We announced this just last week. There's a link there for the press release. If you're interested to learn more, I would ask you to go ahead to look at our partner page, of course, on our website. And if you're interested to learn even further, we're happy to set up a one-on-one with you to talk about everything from how we work with you, the pricing and whatnot. So there's a link there to become a partner, or you can also go to our website and to the partner page and join. We will be taking a look at all those submissions and contacting you and following up with you on that. So with that, I'm going to open it up to questions, and both Jose and I can answer, as well as Carl if is still available. But I think we answered the white label. Regarding some of the pricing, what I could say is that what you see on retail is obviously for retail. We are going to provide much better advantage to our partners. So I would recommend that you just sign up to become a partner or interested to become a partner, and we'll talk to you about that. We price what you see on retail is on a per credit, as what Jose was putting in the portal to show in the demo. For partners, we're pricing it on a package basis. So different types of packages require a number of credits, but for partners, we are providing it on a package pricing. Why are we doing that? It's to help your margin. Again, our entire intent is to help you drive an improved margin, so you can either upsell your services or even upsell the actual package.
And Rupen, this is Carl, just to jump in real quick. We own and operate AttackIQ Flex and Ready organically, and we do that predominantly because we want to make sure that the technologies that our partners are owning and operating, that we're experiencing what you're experiencing on a firsthand basis. But our partners will always have substantially preferred pricing over anything that you'll see AttackIQ selling organically. Our route to market for these two technologies, Flex and Ready, is really through the partner ecosystem. We don't do anything direct. That's part one. Part two, we don't. The reason we use credits is we don't want to be the arbiter of the price for your market or for the ICP, ideal customer profile, that you guys are focused on. Pricing in Asia is very different than pricing in Europe, very different than pricing in North America. And by selling, in the case of Flex, a per package price, which is substantially less than what you can see on the AttackIQ organic portal today, then you become really in charge of what your margin structure is for what your market will bear based on the ICP you're going after. And so a big part of what we provide as a service to you in the partner program is that we're not doing drive-by technology. I mean, we're not here just to sell this technology and say goodbye, good luck with your program. A big part of what we want to do is enable our partners to be successful on both the pre-sales motion as well as the post-sales motion. And so we have teams of people that can work directly with you to help you figure out how to price this in the market and to get to market quickly, as well as how to pull through all those other products and services that you sell in your portfolio that you care about. So I'll give you a quick example of that. We have MSSP partners that make a lot of their money on their MDR service. So why wouldn't you have a pre-sales motion with Flex where a customer can self-service and a pre-sales marketing motion, run a Flex package that's targeted for EDR. Of course, if they don't own and operate EDR today, they'd be all red. And then they deploy your agent in a best baseline configuration, rerun the same package. They're all green. Would you like to buy my MDR? That's really kind of the pre-sales motion we can help you with. But if you think about a sales team that now has access to some telemetry data, specific to a pre-sales motion that marketing generated, now you have a lot more information. You might be able to ascertain that not only do they not have good EDR, but their next-gen firewall is not being managed properly or whatever it might be. you're going to have a lot more telemetry and data to have better sales engagement on the pre-sales motion. And you can see from that example, if you thought you're selling EDR to that particular customer or MDR, now you put yourself in a position to also manage the firewall. As just an example. Back to you, Rupen.
Thank you, Carl. That was helpful. There was a question, and just to close off on the pricing, there was a question about the various tiers, the crawl, walk, run, that I outlined earlier. As I mentioned, there's a pay-as-you-go model, and Carl just mentioned that PLG motion that can be done as a pay-as-you-go. So it's a very minimal cost there. And what we did is we designed what we provide to our customers directly, our retail side. We're providing essentially the keys of the kingdom here with our partner portal here, and that's where the walk and the run offerings come in. So we'll talk about those kinds of pricing for the various tiers. Again, you can mix and match. Those are just proposed ways of actually providing that offering. Again, it can be part of another stack that you have already, or it can be completely independent. So we've made it very flexible, no pun intended, flexible for you to actually, provide AttackIQ with your offering. With that, I'll look at the next question here. I think it perhaps is more related to you, Jose. But
yeah, happy to answer that. So the last question I see is whether it be sales material and training we can use, and that's the answer to that is absolutely. We actually have in our partner academy, which you'll be invited to, we have full training of operationalizing and selling with Flex. That's going to teach you how to run Flex as well, and the basics of also managing the MSSP platform as well. So across, managing it as a service to actually enabling your sales team in field, we have courses around that. If you're familiar with our academy, we have a partner academy where we teach these kind of things. So absolutely.
Yep. And then the other question that came up was, how do we schedule a one-on-one? So like I said earlier, if you could just sign up on Become a Partner there, which is attackiq.com/partnersjoin, or if you go to our website and the partner page, there should be a couple of places to become a partner button. Just sign up there and we will set up a one-on-one with you. Any other questions? Let's see. Jose,
yeah, I see some quick technical questions, right? The packages, everything cleans up itself. We've been doing this for a long time on the enterprise side. The same technology there, clean up after it's done. That's to another question earlier. That's why we can run this in production environment. So you can absolutely run this in production environments as part of a process. These are do no harm packages, and they will clean up after ourselves. From a TTP perspective, we actually conduct research directly with MITRE. We're not just putting MITRE in the product. We're actually driving the MITRE research. We're a founding research partner for MITRE. So that's where the TTPs are coming from. But also things like CISA are providing CISA alerts to any emerging threats. So that's how we also keep track of TTPs and choose the TTPs that we include in some of these packages. Along with our research ourselves, we have a dedicated team of researchers that just focuses on tracking the latest emerging threats outside of what CISA and MITRE may be documenting today.
Another question came up. It says, if an end customer runs out of credits, how can I be sure you order new credits over the channel and not direct from the portal? I'm not sure if I understand the question completely, but I can answer it. I think you saw a little bit about how Jose was depositing credits. So let me see if I can answer that question. From a partner perspective, you can obviously have packages pre-buy of those packages, and then you can either do this for the end customer by depositing packages / credits to their account, and so they can, if they run out, that they can continue to run that. Or they can request, customer can request from a self-service perspective that they require some more credits or packages. But Jose, you want to add to that from a more?
And beyond that, this is your service. AttackIQ happens to be providing that service for you so that you can white label it. But your customer on there, they're your customer. They're going to consume your credits. and they're going to have to go through whatever mechanism they did to purchase it. They'll go through that because it's your service that you're managing completely. You can control the entitlement. So AttackIQ is there providing you the service. There's no ability for them to run around you and purchase them elsewhere. It's a service being provided by you through AttackIQ.
Yeah, I think that was probably the last question that I can see. There's one more question, maybe Jose, you can answer. Because define what is a credit.
Credit is actually something that you can control, right? You can choose to charge 1 credit per package of testing, or you can choose to charge 5. So it's really there to enable you to define the pricing of what you want to do. And if you want to just have a standard price per assessment that gets run through either service, you can go ahead and do that and default everything to 1 credit as an example, or you can have your customers purchase credit. So it's really there as a mechanism for you to define how you want to take this to market, how you want to give your customers the optionality to buy. For example, some of our partners will sell it in packages, bundles of 5, 10, and 50, so that customers can buy into testing and then get those credits and consume them at their leisure and when they see fit. So it's really up to you to define and to give you the flexibility.
Yeah, I'll answer it in one other way too, Jose. Thank you for that. From a retail perspective, customers coming to AttackIQ, we have the concept of credits, and there's a number of credits that constitute into a Flex package, and they vary, but on average, it's about 5 credits per package, on average. However, for partners, we've kind of made it simpler, which is we are providing you packages, and so you can equate each package as a credit. And now it's up to you on how you would like to price that. And that's why we're saying that you can drive improved margin with that. And so, as Jose said, it's really up to you on how you want to do that, but we made it simpler as that those assessments are, you can equate each package as being 1 credit or differently. I think we'll have one more question here. And I think we'll wrap up here and give you some time back here before the top of the hour. Last question. Oh, Jose, you want to answer this? Can you see our customers?
It's fully managed service by you, right? You guys can have single sign-on, for example, and so no.
Great. Well, with that, we are really excited about the program. As if you can't tell already, we have graduated as a company from taking our very successful enterprise product and providing this solution in a much more packaged way with our Flex and Ready solutions, and providing breach attack simulation at a much more cost-effective way to the masses. We're excited to engage with a lot of the partners out there today. And so if you're interested, we ask you to sign up to become a partner. We appreciate you spending the time today to learn about the MSSP program and AttackIQ's Flex and Ready solutions. I want to thank Jose, my colleague here, and Carl for their partnership and participating in this webinar. With that, thank you very much. Have a great day, evening, morning, afternoon, whatever time zone you're in. Take care.